I think our biggest concern about selling the house was just, are we going to be able to sell it?
Mm-hmm.
Because we had already gone through this process before, and when you can't sell your house, it affects you financially and emotionally and everything else. And so I think we're really concerned that it just was not going to sell because of the market, and that we would kind of be in the same position. And my concern, because we had renters in the house, was if the process took too long, our renters might move on, and then we still might not sell it, and we may be stuck with an empty house that we all had to pay for.
And on both of those counts, though, it was nice to be able to work with Spiro, who showed us some things that dispelled a little bit of that fear about, is this going to sell? Is it going to work? Are we going to be able to move this house in this market? And he was able to walk us through some things and some strategies he was going to put to work for us that helped make us feel better about that process. And then also with our renters, it was just such a blessing to see how Spiro didn't just get to know us and what we needed, but he was really concerned about the folks who were already renting our
Yeah,
home and
for
making
sure.
sure that they felt comfortable as we were moving through the sale of the home, the staging.
Yeah.
He was working with them as much as he was working with us to make sure that they were informed, they were comfortable, they had a smooth process as well, because it's a lot to ask of someone who's renting the home
Yeah.
and knows that that it's on the market, it's going to be sold. And so he was able to work with them and even talk with them about some options for them, about helping them to get into maybe a forever home as well. So
Yeah.
that really
That
helped
was
so
huge.
much.
That was a really big deal.
We chose Spiro Stavros as our realtor because we've known Spiro for several years now through church and just as friends, grown to just love him and trust him. And so as we were getting ready to enter this process of selling the home, we had a decision to make. We had gone. Spiro had invited us to an event that he was hosting well before we started this process, and we got a chance to meet with some of his former clients and just see a little bit about all the things that he does to take care of people and to help the process along and help people to sell their homes. And we just thought the things he's doing make a lot of sense to us. The person that he is someone who we trust, and we thought that's what more can you ask than that?
Mhm. During the listing and the selling process, we just had a great experience with Spiro. He was very communicative with us, but not like overly so to where
Mm-hmm.
we felt harassed by it or anything. It just felt very easy. We felt like had the like we had all the information that was pertinent to us, but then we just trusted Spiro to handle all the things that he was supposed to be handling, and he did. So I never felt overwhelmed with it all. I just could kind of put it in his hands and trust that it was being taken care of, and I think that's the main thing that stood out to me.
Yeah, Spiro is very professional, very kind. Also, listing your home and selling it can be a time, as we've experienced before. It's a real opportunity to get anxious and to freak out and start to worry about some things. But one of the things that was really helpful for me is that Spiro's not anxious and he's not freaking
Mm-hmm.
out. He knows the market, he knows what he's doing, and he was able to take some of that calmness that
Yeah.
he has and help give it to us.
Yeah. Spiro supported us pretty well during all of it by just checking in with us, giving us the information we needed. Um, he he definitely went above and beyond to make sure he was marketing our house well. He took videos while he was there, posted them on his socials.
Walkthroughs of the
Yeah,
home so that
walkthroughs
people
of the
could see
home.
it.
He listened to us, like when he had wanted to do maybe an open house, and I felt like the weekend was going to be um, too challenging on the renters.
Mm-hmm.
And so I declined that, and he didn't get upset about that. He just said, "That's great. We'll figure out other ways that we can market the home." And so he listened to our needs and what where we were, in the process, and then he worked with us. We never felt a lot of high pressure.
So for during the final part of our home sale journey, we were out of town, and it was really just good to know that Spiro was in town and communicating with agents and was getting back to us and updating us through calls and texts about,
Yeah.
just because when you can't be there, it means a lot to know that somebody is there on site and is taking care of the things that pop into our head. And we were thinking, oh gosh, I hope somebody's taking care of that. And he was.
Yeah.
One of the things that we really appreciated about working with Spiro is his communication. We received weekly updates from him about what was going on, the activity that we had, checking in on whether or not we should make an adjustment on the asking price. We met not only over the phone and on Zoom, but also in person, just to sync up on some things, look at some figures, and really form a strategy, and then reassess and see, is this working? Is there something else we should do? And so that constant communication was very helpful and very reassuring. And it's not something that we've always had in the past.
And it was the right amount of communication, so he wasn't constantly communicating with us to where I just felt like, I don't know what else to do. But it was just the right amount, where we knew that he was taking care of things. He cared about us. Like, we didn't have to ask him for a phone call. He would reach out to us and
So I said
in a
constant.
timely way. And
what I should have said
it
was
wasn't
consistent.
Consistent, yes. It
Yeah.
was not constant where it was frustrating. It was just the perfect amount of communication.
Thanks, Spiro.
So one of the surprises we had about the house was it was just like 2 days before we were supposed to close and sign the papers, and we were out of town, and we were on our way back from Colorado, and we get a call from Spiro because the buyers were doing their final walkthrough, a couple days early, and I'm really glad that it worked out this way, because they discovered a leak in the wall.
Yeah, that where the washer had been connected to the wall, when it was disconnected, it was a really small leak that we had not noticed,
and it had gone on for a few days and had messed up the wall. And so we were in the car. Our calls kept getting dropped. We were in the mountains. And Spiro, though, he kept on persisting and calling us and getting through. And then he went over to the house and
with the other
stopped
agent,
the leak,
met the other buyers, and stopped the leak first of all.
So more damage wouldn't have happened. And if he hadn't been willing to do that, we would have come home to a huge mess, rather than kind of a small thing that we were able to fix and repair before it closed.
And it's the kind of thing that potentially could have halted the sale.
Definitely.
But Spiro came in and found the source of the problem, put a stop to it there, and communicated with the other agent and with the buyers, giving us some time to go in and make those repairs, and get another look at it from the buyers in time for them to approve it and for us to close.
We closed on time,
on the date.
Yeah, and if that hadn't happened, I think it would have all been messed up, maybe for another week, or maybe they would have backed out because there would have been more damage in the house. So that was huge. So he was just on it and right there, so we could really be assured, even while out of town, that things were being taken care of.
Another surprise that I had during our home sale was that the couple who eventually ended up purchasing the home was one of the first couples to have seen it. And when you get showings and you get somebody who's interested, they want to do a second showing. We had that very early on, and then there was a little bit of a lull. It seemed like there wasn't a lot of interest there, but when Spiro called us to say we have an offer, and we asked if we had any information about who the buyer was, and he mentioned to us that, well, it's some people that saw the house about 40 days ago or 30 days ago, and we thought, well, those people came to see it, I guess they're not interested. But it turned out that they were one of the first ones to look at the home, and they were just trying to get some things together to make the offer. So it just goes to show you never know what's going to happen, and you can't lose hope, and you can't get discouraged or defeated. And that's something that Spiro was able to remind us throughout. And then it really drove it home at the end when he said, that's somebody who looked at it for the first time. I'm glad I'm glad we were patient.
The marketing and the photos of our home were absolutely beautiful. Spiro did a great job um, highlighting the best features of our house and really presenting those in the best way. And it was just really great. It was really fun to look back through the pictures and just go, oh, this is a pretty house. This looks great.
This whole journey really exceeded my expectations. One of my concerns was, as it is with a lot of folks selling their home, I don't want to have to lower the price too much. And Spiro worked with us to make sure that the house was priced right, so that it sold. And actually sold in 44 days, which is a little bit less than half of the average for our area at the time that we were selling. It was about 90 days was average, and we went from listing to contract in 44 days with a price that we were very comfortable with. And so that's something that I didn't know. I didn't know if I could expect that much out of the process, but it worked out really well.
If you're looking for a real estate agent, we would highly recommend hiring Spiro Stavros. He did a great job. He was professional. We enjoyed his company. He's just a really nice guy. He puts your worries at ease. He knows what he's talking about. So we highly recommend using Spiro and his team to handle your house transaction for sure.
Yeah, if you are looking for someone that you can trust, someone who is going to be consistent in his communication with you, someone who knows the market and knows how to sell a home, then I would highly recommend Spiro Stavros and his team. They were wonderful for us, and I know they would be wonderful for you. Well, I just as we were coming to closing date, and coming from an experience where we had listed previously and then we had to take it off the market, had to rent. We'd been on a really long journey with this home, and so coming into closing date, what a feeling of relief, and what a feeling of joy to know that this was a chapter that we'd been in for a really long time, and it was finally coming to a close, but with a happy ending. And Spiro Stavros and his team have a lot to do with that happy ending. We want you to hire Spiro Stavros.